Welcome back to another episode of Out of the Blank podcast. I'm here with my comrade, my companion of the Amish heritage, but he's not really Amish, at least as far as we know. He could be. Do you feel Amish today?
Um, how would you feel Amish?
You
Do you
feel like
think? Yeah,
churning butter anytime soon?
I do. I do get. When I do feel Amish when technology goes wrong, and then I think, yeah, maybe this is the time to just abandon all technology and go and live in the sticks somewhere.
Kind of like
Because
when I'm at self checkout and it says reset the scale, and I keep hitting the reset button, then eventually you just want to punch the fucking screen.
do you know, I tend to stay away from the self checkout things. But on Friday, I went to my local supermarket because we were going to have some steaks for a treat for tea, because it was just that me and the missus, the Sprogs, the children of the corner, were at the grandparents. So I got some steaks, and they were meant to be £7.30, and I put them through the self checkout, and I got charged £5.60. So quids in.
Okay, why is steak considered like a fancy night out? Like a lot of people go, "We're going to the steakhouse," and I'm like, okay, I'm fine with some like you go to Outback, for instance. Some people consider that fancy. I don't know if you have Outback over there. Um, it's basically like you're just getting a bloomin' onion. It's the whole difference between an Outback and an Applebee's or a Chili's. The only reason you go to Chili's is you want that hot plate that comes across your face that's like sizzling, like you know what I'm talking about with the
Yeah.
yeah, okay. For me, I'm like, man, a treat for me would be like Chinese food or like something below $5. Cause if it's more than $5, I don't want it. Like my buddy has these, there's a steakhouse called Ruth's Chris. And he goes to the steakhouse and I'm like, how much did you spend on a bill there for your dinner? He goes, well, I got a small steak and like a little baked potato. And it came out probably a total of the dinner for me was like 36. And then my buddy ordered a steak and a couple of beers. It was like $52. I'm like, Jesus Christ. Like,
Yeah.
don't
Well,
you
sorry,
can't. I'm about to say, don't trust a steakhouse. You shouldn't be eating at those places anyway. Did you know that they hire their waiters and waitresses to know CPR? Because steak is a food you can choke on. Don't trust a food. Eat a saltine cracker. Those things, if you choke on a saltine, you deserve to die because it turns into mush when you're eating it.
the thing is that going out to a restaurant, you're not just sort of paying for the food. It's an experience, isn't it? And it's a social occasion. And so, and you're paying for the service as well, for people to, you're not cooking it yourself.
I'm
Someone who's an expert is doing it for you.
I'm about to disable your points right now. First of all, you said it's about the experience. I'm guessing you mean like family time, like the atmosphere with your family, correct?
It's an occasion.
Okay, well, everybody's on their fucking phone. So next argument would be you're talking about the service. Okay, you're telling me the lady that is wearing, or the man, it could be a man, let's say it's a man, wearing so much damn makeup on his face that it looks like a fucking mask where you can pull it off. And then even then it's like, what would you like to drink? Can I have a Coke? All we have is Pepsi products. Can I have a Pepsi? All we have is RC Cola. I'm like, fuck. You know, it's never a good experience. They're always like, what do you want to eat? I'm like, I don't know. What do you guys have? Oh my God, you're getting the onion rings. It's like, looks like I'm getting the onion rings. I never get a good waiter or waitress whenever I go.
Well, you're obviously going to the wrong restaurants then, Robbie.
I'm going to the Outback because they, like I
How
said, they
dare
have the
you?
bloomin' onion.
How dare you denigrate the millions of people in our countries that grind their fingers to the bone on Saturday and Friday nights so you can enjoy yourself.
I have not been out to eat in like 7 years because I don't need it. I'm fine with a can of tuna at my house and a saltine cracker. I'd rather drink at my home like a damn champion in my underwear, eating saltine crackers and watching the dumbest shit on TV like Mike Tyson's Mystery Series.
Well, I've not eaten out for well over a year, but that's not through choice. But I'll be looking forward to it when we're allowed to again, when our divine rulers judge that it's acceptable for us to go to the risk of going to a restaurant. That's one of the first things I'll do, because I do enjoy it on a Friday night or a Saturday night, taking the kids. We have a pub that's about 10 minutes walk from our house, and it's not great food, but it's all right, and it's a treat. And you get to have a couple of beers and walk home, and it's an occasion, and I'll be looking forward to it. I think you're just suffering from too many bad experiences, and then it's poisoning your brain, your mind.
That's probably a thing. I mean, if we look at like, I wish we had a time travel machine so I could go back in time to all the times I used to be a kid and go out to eat with my grandparents. Because whenever we went over there on weekends or like for summers, for instance, I worked up there. So I would stay at my grandparents' house during the summer. They're about a state away from me. And I would, I'd work at this water park and we go to like a Fridays or an Applebee's, depending on the night. And I remember how many times I would go there and just sit on my phone or play like a game on my phone and not enjoy the experience, where now that I'm older, I wish I could go back and I wish I could relive one of those moments, but like if I could travel back in time and see my younger self, like playing my phone and tell myself like, get off your phone. And then me and knowing myself back then would be like, who the fuck are you? And I would just take my head and slam it against the table multiple fucking times until all the shit on Applebee's walls, like the jerseys, the hockey sticks, all the shit they hang up just starts falling off the freaking shelf. I know that sounds horrible, but it's like, damn, you've really got to appreciate those moments. And I know a lot of people were complaining about, I can't go out to eat because we're on lockdown. I'm like, did you really even talk to your family anyway? Like, nobody's having family dinners anymore. That's why I thought it was amazing when I was talking to all these restaurant owners, chefs, and all these things. They were making packages at their business for you to send them home so you can make it yourself at your house and still have that family experience. You get to steps 1 and 2, and then you tell your fucking family we're ordering Domino's or Pizza Hut. It's not fucking happening.
I think you're definitely onto something with the use of devices in restaurants. That does drive me. I do. Yeah, I see it all the time, and I'll see a couple, and it's not just young people. Couples in their 50s, and they're sat at a table for two, and both of them are like this, staring down at the blue screen. And I just think, just put it down for fuck's sake. Just stop. Live your frigging life for a change. Put them away. And I don't know. Well, they play on psychology. They're addictive, aren't they? And the people who make these apps, they know they're addictive and they make them addictive. But I think you're right that this, over the last, what is it, probably 10 years roughly? Is it 2007 Facebook started, give or take?
I think probably 2005.
Right. I mean, it has taken over. And yeah, I do feel I'm still waiting for the backlash. The backlash of people saying no more. We're going to chuck away these apps that serve no purpose other than to sell you advertising and drain your time. And the time is the only commodity we have, which is truly precious.
I think the real question is, how many ads can we put into an app or put into some type of social media site where it's going to get to the point where people are like, I'm fucking done with this. Like, I've had games on my phone that I've started, and immediately the first couple of minutes of play, I've gotten an advertisement like 4 or 5 times in a row where I'm like, this is not worth the app, and I've deleted it. We just need to flood all these apps with so many ads. But what's that limit? Because I'll tell you, I can get 7 ads in a minute on Dragon City, and I'll still fucking watch them all to be able to play Dragon City.
Oh man, it's a no way, because I paid for an app yesterday. It's like a soundboard app that you can put on a tablet or a smart device, and it's the same thing every 5 minutes or a few minutes. It throws an ad up, but if you pay £1.99, you can get the ad-free version. So does not apply to Dragon City.
But what's a good app? Is a good app like that app that makes that dreaded sound that just went off on your fucking phone? Or is a good app going to be like, I don't know, a flashlight on your phone? Like, there are useful things to have, but what do we consider useful? Because I can tell you.
What I'm saying is that the choice is you either watch the adverts, because that's how they make money, or if you can pay a small amount to have the app ad free, I think that's fine.
That's like kind of the question of having a Patreon and not having a Patreon. Are you a man of the people, or are you a selfish bastard? I don't know.
Yeah, we don't. I've thought about it
because we're men of the people.
Yeah, our philosophy on our podcast is value for value. If you find the podcast valuable, return some value, and it doesn't have to be monetary. It can be through sending us people who you'd like guest suggestions.
Send me your fucking hand.
Yeah. But I've considered Patreon because a lot of people use it and it will be convenient for some people to send us money. But there's two issues I have with Patreon. One is that they're taking a cut for doing nothing that PayPal doesn't already do. And two, I fell out with them a few years ago. Have you heard of Count Dankula?
Count Dankula.
Count Dankula is he was like a Scottish YouTube comedian who had a YouTube channel. And about 3 or 4 years ago, he made a video where he taught his girlfriend's dog, which is a pug, to do a Nazi salute. And as a joke.
Oh, I know.
And Patreon banned him because they weren't happy with his content. And as a protest, Jordan Peterson, Sam Harris, a lot of other big, sort of world famous content producers came off Patreon, said we're not playing ball with you. If you're going to start censoring people using your platform, and it's still going on today. Someone in our podcast community, Whitney Webb, she had her Patreon dinged about 3 weeks ago because they didn't like something she'd posted on another platform. So that's why I don't have a Patreon. If they were more ethical, then I would consider it, but I don't see the value.
I've been doing my podcast for 2.5 years, and I messaged Anchor. I've kind of messaged them like probably once the first year I was starting the podcast, and then about the second year in, and now I'm heading towards like the third year, I would say about 2.5. And I messaged them. I was like, hey, how come I've never gotten like any, you guys say at the bottom, you're going to try and find sponsors for me, but I haven't gotten one. And then like a month later, I finally got an email just like last week, and they were like, yeah, we've reviewed your show. You post a lot of episodes. And I was like, I know, every day. Yeah. And they go, we can't match you with anything because you go like one's a really, really intelligent and intellectual episode. Then the other one, like you mentioned shit or you mentioned something. And I'm like, it's a one-off. You got to fucking appease the people. I'm trying to let's talk about cults. And then I want to talk about life. And then I also want to talk about steakhouses and how they murder people at an alarming rate. And they're like, well, we can't give you a sponsorship because our advertisers don't like, it's very hard to monetize you. And YouTube said the same thing to me. And I'm like, because what? I mentioned one thing and you guys don't want to monetize that. Like if you mention anything with COVID, if you mention anything with this, they're like, that's like a demonetization type thing. I'm like, then fuck it. I'm going to work my way up and have fun with it. I don't give a shit. I'm going to create merch with giant crazy shit on it and then see what happens. I'm like a wasp. I eat my young. Hang them.
We were talking about this only last night, actually, because our latest this week we got contacted by a company called Smooth My Balls for a sponsorship thing.
Nobody cares about the balls. It's always a dick pic, never a ball picture. I'm not wrong.
We won't do it. We won't do it because once you go down that road of having sponsors and advertising, if you're reliant on those sponsors and that advertisement for generating your revenue to keep you solvent and pay for your web hosting and everything else, if all of a sudden, like you said, the advertiser turns around and says, "Oh, we don't like what you said there about vaccines or COVID or whatever," then you're going to start censoring yourself. And then what's the point? The whole point of our podcast is it's free speech, and we say what we think, and we try not to censor ourselves, and it's warts and all. We have foibles. We're not flawless individuals. We're going to make mistakes and use sloppy language from time to time, but what you see is what you get.
Yeah.
And so that's the danger, isn't it, of going down this sponsorship route?
It's like if you ask the question, like if you, let's say a producer came up to you when you were first starting your show and he was like, I'm going to give it airtime. I'm going to give it a radio thing. You're going to have so much money funding you. We're going to give you your own studio that's made. You're not going to we're going to get you great guests, or you can do it on your own and work your way up to success. Most people are gonna be like, I want to start off with the right amount of chips. Like for instance, my parents own radio stations and work at radio stations. My dad was like, I can just give you your own segment if you're going to start a podcast. And I'm like, well, I could start a radio show with you, but when are you going to give me those like little things I have to say to you or things I have to say on the show, and I have to regulate my speech? And once you let that door open up, they're going to regulate everything. They're going to regulate, oh, now you can't say this and now you got to do this. And it's like, yeah, but you'll get great guests and you'll get like already a large following on the radio waves. And I'm like, doesn't fucking matter, because then I can't say things about poop that I might want to say. I can't talk to amazing people. I can't get guests I want to get and ask the questions I want to ask. If I have, the best part about me is I would consider myself a conversationalist, but I'm very open-minded. So when I talk to someone, it's not like I'm specifically coming at you with, like, I have nothing written down while I'm talking to you right now. I had nothing written down when you were, and actually I wanted to bring it up because our first chat, my Mortal Kombat theory fucking got thrown down the toilet with that damn movie. It fucking ruined Mortal Kombat for me.
Is that a new movie? I've lost track with Mortal Kombat. Is there a new movie out?
Yeah, the new Mortal Kombat. Everyone's like, it's going to be amazing. And then it came out and everyone's like, oh my God, it was dog shit. I was like, I told you, you hyped it up in your head. Don't hype it up. Say that it's going to be an okay movie. And then, like, it's what upset me about the Snyder Cut. Everyone's like, what are you talking about? The Snyder Cut was way better than the original. I was like, you're comparing a turd to a turd. It's the same fucking movie, but they added an Instagram effect and made everything darker. That's all it was.
And they made it about 2 hours longer as well.
Yeah. It's like, fuck it. Let's just drag it out. Instead of him going into a diner and ordering a milkshake, we're going to have him kill someone outside the diner in a 40-minute fight, then order a milkshake. It's the same scene, just added more shit in it.
Is Christopher Lambert in the new Mortal Kombat movie?
Christopher, I don't know the names of the people. I just know the sounds they make when they shatter my dreams.
Christopher Lambert. Have you seen the first Mortal Kombat movie? From the late 90s?
That was a good movie, even though people are like, he's not even falling on the spike. It's right between his arms. So it looks like the spike went through him. Like, who gives a shit?
Well, Christopher Lambert was Raiden in the original Mortal Kombat film.
Oh.
He's famous in our country for the Highlander movies. I don't know if they really took off in the US.
It's the Highlander movies that the superhero
is an immortal who is in a contest with other immortals on Earth, and you have to decapitate the other competitors to win. So it's a sword fighting immortal movie.
Fucking sword fight. Rip his head off like a damn man. Like, you ever get that way when the waiter or waitress brings you your food and you don't want that? It's like, this isn't what I ordered. You just want a Mortal Kombat and rip their head off.
Get over here.
Get over. Yeah, that was perfect. I love it how that sounded like American, and then everything else you say does.
Yeah, I remember having Mortal Kombat 2 on the Sega Mega Drive, which would probably be about 1993, 94. And yeah, I'm
about to say, if you play the games like the newer ones, it's hard for me to watch now. Like, when they do the fatalities, I'm like, Jesus Christ. Like, the dude rips off his head, shits down his throat, and you see it all. I'm like, oh my God, no wonder my fucking nephew's fucked up. Like, he's all depressed and shit, like emo. And I'm like, are you okay? He's like, I've seen some things. I'm like what? And he shows me a fatality on Mortal Kombat. I'm like, holy shit. Like, this is back in the day, the dude's head just came off and that was it. Now it's like the head comes off, they rip your dick out of your mouth, and then it's like all this other shit. I'm like, oh my God. Was it not enough?
Why have you got a dick in your mouth?
No, they like punch, go down your throat and rip your dick out and then pull it out through your mouth.
Oh my God.
That's an entertaining fatality.
As soon as we're done here, I need to go on YouTube and look up Mortal Kombat fatalities.
It's funny because I've watched the full 45-minute video of every single fatality, and it's rough, bro.
Well, in Mortal Kombat 2, you had to put in a cheat code to see the fatalities.
I can never do them because it's like up, down, and I always do something wrong, and then my guy just punches him in the face, and the dude falls over. I'm like, where's the dick ripping out? Where'd that go? Am I not good enough?
I remember seeing it at the time and thinking, wow, the graphics, they're just next level. What is going on with these graphics? And you compare them to games of today, it's like, I mean, there's just no comparison, is there? Things have moved on so much.
What kind of ringtone was that?
It was an alarm.
You know what I picture? You know what I picture hell to be like? Hell is probably like when you're, you know, like when cartoons and the shows, when the whole screen just goes white and they're like, where's the background? You know, it's all gone. That's hell, but it's just nonstop in the background sound wise is the iPhone alarm that no, 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 over and over again, and it never goes away. Because here's the funny thing: for the first 20 minutes, you're like, "If this is hell, well, if you think this is gonna annoy me, I can make a song out of it." Then you start dancing to it. Then after 20 minutes, you're like, "Oh my god, fucking kill me now."
Yeah, I've never really pondered what hell might be like. Do you think? I wonder if it's assuming that it is true. I wonder if it is like that. It's like an individual hell. Like hell is tailored to the individual.
That's what they
So
say. Heaven's like heaven's your individual one. Like you have a door you go through and you enter someone else's heaven.
wow.
But then
I've
doesn't that
you must
create ethical issues though? Because if you go to heaven and it's supposed to be your family, friends, everyone you've ever loved there, and you get to have anything you want, if they're not allowed into your personal heaven, that means if everybody's in their own personal heaven, such as like your wife and your, God forbid, obviously, God forbid. But if your family's up in heaven and they're all in their own individual heavens, but in your heaven, your family's there, are they a simulation or a clone or a decoy and they're not your real fucking family? So now I'm wondering if I'm having adventures like me and you, if we're in heaven together, where somehow we got involved and we're in each other's heavens, our paths cross, our stars, our horoscopes matched or some shit. we're
someone rip your dick out through your mouth.
we're playing Mortal Kombat. You fucking piss me off. I take the controller and jab it into your eye. Then I get out of my own personal heaven, go to the lobby or whatever where there's tea time, and you're there. And I'm like, Phil, I'm so sorry I shoved my Sega Genesis controller into your head. And you're like, what? And I realized it was a whole nother Phil. And we never had these bonding moments. You don't remember them. I remember them. And then it's like, who do I actually care about? The heaven Phil or the actual Phil?
Yeah, is heaven like an individual holodeck? It's tailored to you, and then everyone has their own. If everyone has their own heaven, that sort of defeats the point, doesn't it? I think most spiritually minded people, or some of the philosophies I enjoy reading about, like Gnosticism, talk about consciousness being united in the afterlife. That rather than what we're positing here, that you each consciousness goes into its own little holodeck or matrix of what heaven is, they would argue, but that no, we're down here as individuals, and then when we pass, each individual divine spark in us goes up and reunites with the collective, with the oneness of the universe.
But can you get kicked out of heaven?
Kicked out? And what would you have to do?
Like imagine if God can see everybody's heaven and he goes, look, we got a problem with this guy. And it's like, what's wrong with Phil's heaven? And you're just in your heaven, you're smoking crack and beating the shit out of toddlers. That's your heaven.
Yeah, I think that would be a bit like a Twitter ban, wouldn't it? Would you get like a 7-day ban to go and think about what you've done?
What, and then it's just blanked out, like the whole thing's like a blackout, like someone cut the power on your heaven, and it's like you're sitting in the dark thinking about what you did.
Yeah, or they send you to purgatory. Maybe that's what purgatory is. The people who went to heaven and fucked up.
I feel like purgatory is like they give you like an Xbox, but then every time you try and play it, there's just the one shitty game that's automatically installed onto your Xbox where it's like you're not going to have any fun and you're not going to have a bad time, but you just kind of feel, eh.
Yeah, possibly. I don't know what my version of purgatory would be. It'd be sort of like, I don't know, like waiting for a bus till the end of time.
Fuck. That sounds awful. Oh my God.
Just sat in a bus shelter on a rainy February day in Manchester. Wait for a bus.
It wouldn't be rainy. It would look like it's about to rain and would have the moisture in the air like it's going to rain, but there's no rain coming because nothing ever comes. Even like you can be like, I'm going to masturbate. You don't ever come. That's the purgatory. Think it through.
Just edging. There's till the end of time.
There's only a beginning, no ending. Never, ever. This is it. Because it makes you think though. if what would your definition of heaven be like if you had to create the best possible scenario? Because people always talk about it's your memories over and over and over again, like your best ones. And I'm thinking like my heaven scenario, I feel like I've always said before, is like a 1950s diner with a nice chocolate milkshake, just a chocolate old school retro milkshake. Nobody in the diner, just that, just something so simple. And people are like, well, don't you want eggs with your milkshake? I'm like, you can't fucking cross traditions here. You got to have just the milkshake. I don't want food with it.
I don't know. I just have a different, maybe I just have a different conception of what it could possibly be. I don't think if such a place or state of existence exists, I think it's beyond our comprehension. And it's something that is probably has to be experienced in that way on from a consciousness level. I don't think we're picking out things that we enjoy about this reality that we're existing in the moment, and then projecting that onto what we feel heaven might be or what we'd want it to be. I think if there is such a thing, I think we're way off what it would be. I think it's something that probably defies explanation through language. It's something experiential. And, you hear people talk about near death experiences or people who've messed with DMT and psychedelics and stuff.
Yeah.
Especially with psychedelics, they can't put it into words. The words fail them. And I think if such a state of being exists, I think that it's probably down that road that you can't really describe it or compare it to how we live our lives, as in this mortal coil, in this flesh vehicle.
So through my podcast episodes I've done, I've started to now be confirmed about the belief of aliens. I know the COVID bills and all this stuff released in the government all released all this stuff about it, but like I've heard two personal encounters within a time span of 200 something episodes where I know these two people have never met each other and they both describe the exact same thing. But here's the issue, whenever you try and look up something about Sasquatch or aliens, the person fucking describing it is like, Jesus Christ, who gave this guy a microphone? Like, it's horrible. It's never anybody intelligent that's explaining these things. But if you hear like a personal UFO encounter, the guy's like, he's like, sounds like he's nuts, like he's making it up. It just sounds so. And I started to realize maybe it's because you don't have words to describe what you've seen. You're trying to pick apart something in your brain, like find words that correlate with what you've seen, but it's so undescribable because it's something we've never really encountered before. But I've heard the same exact story about three lights in the sky, like a triangle, and then they would move and you would see behind its dimension, like they've hit a two-dimensional thing to be able to blend in. And even though in their world it's three-dimensional, or in their spacecraft it's three-dimension, what we see is a two-dimension because it takes up less space and it's less to be seen by the eyes of the people. And I've heard that through two people with the exact same encounters in two different places that have never met each other. So I've confirmed it. Where now I have a new conspiracy theory I want to toss at you. It's not really a conspiracy, it's just my own thoughts. So I've been talking to a lot of family historians and genealogists, people that track your history of your family or your genetics and all this stuff to be able to pinpoint like what your history of your family or where you come from is. And I've been thinking, this came to me because I had a best friend growing up, who he told me, which I don't know if you know who Robert E. Lee is.
Oh, yeah, he's to do with the War of Independence, yeah?
Yes.
The guy who was the first one to declare victory or say the English were coming? I can't remember. Something like that.
That's Paul Revere.
Oh, it's Paul Revere.
Yeah.
It's Robert. Which one's Robert E. Lee?
Robert E. Lee's like a big South guy, like Confederate.
Yes. Yeah.
So you can't really use that as like a bragging thing now, because now everyone hates anything to do with anything racial. So it's like, we could talk about Texas too. Did you hear about that school that they sued against the school board for critical race theory and they won somehow?
Right. No, I hadn't heard that.
So a bunch of people in Texas were taking their kids out of school because they were teaching, like, they wanted to make things more like about other races and all these other types of things. And the parents were upset because they were making their kids feel like they were like their white children were going to be discriminated against, and the school lost in that battle. And I was like, wow, like fucking Texas.
similar. We've had similar things, and parents protesting outside schools over various ideologies that are being
Like what?
added into the education system, particularly for younger kids.
Like
So
what?
yeah, we're quite similar in our sort of cultural milieu.
What is it?
In
What exactly? Give me an example. I'm not.
so things like critical race theory,
Okay.
the transgender issue is rearing its head in that, you know, sort of a lot of some parents, particularly from sort of quite strict religious backgrounds, don't like the idea of teaching very young kids like 4 and 5 year olds about transgenderism and stuff, because you know they're of the opinion that just let them be kids, and you know it's too young to be sort of confusing them or whatever with this sort of information.
I think the issue with the transgender thing, and I've talked about this with a lot of people, because I mean, as much as it might like stay away from it, it's taboo. It's like you gotta understand, like, especially like if you popularize it so much, like you say, if a kid's like feeling like, first of all, if anybody's ever seen a vagina or a penis when they're like 6 or 7, it scares the shit out of you. I saw porn for the very first time when I was like 7, and I was like, is that a fucking flounder? It looked like a fish. And I was so scared where I'm like, no, I'm surprised I could even have sex today. Like that's how it could be that shocking to a person if you don't explain it and you don't hit it at the right time. It could scar a kid. So I remember there was this article that I read about a mother that changed their kid's gender at the age of like 6 years old because he never liked his penis. And I'm like, does he even know what his dick is? Like
Yeah,
the issue is when you people are getting appraised for it and people like attention, much like if you do a good deed, you get a bunch of people clapping and cheering your name or something. Now it's becoming popular to do that, and you get a bunch of people on your side and support, and people like the attention. So now they're doing it. And there's a lot of backlash with it too. Like a site called transgenderregret.com where a bunch of people have
yep.
switched genders and then, and it's, we won't need to go into it, but when it goes to like the topics of like, I remember there was the very first kid in my school that when I was young that I've ever encountered that was like that. He dressed like a woman. He would dress like fishnet stockings and all this stuff, which I'm like, yeah, there's probably a person out there that feels that way. I don't think it's the majority like they're making it out to be. Kind of like when they say like climate change, like, oh my God, the world's going to blow up next year. And then it's next year and you're like, the world didn't blow up. It's like, yeah, but we were just trying to make you act. So we picked the worst possible thing to happen. You all right? You dying?
No, fine.
You were like banging like this. I'm like, is he choking? Is this the
Oh,
steak incident?
I was rocking my chair.
Okay, I
Rocking my
thought
chair
you were
forward.
choking and dying. I was like, I don't know how to save you through a Zoom call. um,
I wanted to. You broke off from your conspiracy theory. You're Robert E. Lee
oh, okay.
and the
Yeah.
genealogy.
All right, let me just finish the thing. Uh so I remember he wanted to go into the woman's bathroom, and he started going into the woman's bathroom to go to the bathroom, and then people were having an issue, and then it started getting a little bit like, which is okay, you can have an all gender restroom, sure, but then there was like 40-year-old guys that were identifying as a woman and going into the bathroom. You got to make sure you understand there's an issue between being transgender and a guy being a fucking creepo that just wants to look at women in their underwear, which has been, I think that happened at my local movie theater in my
We've had
town.
we've had convicted rapists identify them as females and be put in female jails and start abusing female prisoners.
Yeah,
So you got to be careful with this stuff.
there's an issue with the severe wokeness, and then there's an issue with like a mismanagement of a lot of this stuff. But to what I was saying about the genealogy thing, so my theory after talking to all these geneticists and family historians is, so my best friend growing up, his great grandfather I think was Robert E. Lee. So I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. That's a nice brag. And then around like a couple of years later, I started hanging out with this other kid, and he goes, you want to know something cool about my family? After like, we were hanging out for a while. I think we hung out for like probably a couple of years or so. But you think like the second year in, he tells me he's related to Robert E. Lee as well. And I was like, it's really weird you say that because my buddy is also related to Robert E. Lee. I had them meet, and they found out they're long lost cousins. Like somewhere along the way, they're actually related, and they like it just, I don't know, their family, something happened. Someone went off and had a mistress or something, and then kids. And then somehow these people found themselves in the same town. Like their genetics brought them back together into the same town with the person. And I was like, wait a minute. Does that mean that something in my genetic code, like we all know a relationship, for instance, your wife, for instance, is very attractive to you, not only from looks, but you guys connect on a whole nother level, correct? So I won't have you answer that one. I won't have you answer. But there's a connection you get when you see someone, like a best friend, for instance, when you just hit it off with that person. There's something that you guys resonate on a certain level. Is that something in your genetic code, such as like my one best friend growing up compared to later when I found another friend of mine? I was connected to something in their genetic code, something that I was like, I like this guy. He's a good dude. And you start striking up a chat, you can become best friends. Turns out they're related to the same exact person. Does that mean that there's something in your genetics that relates to something in their genetics, or finds a connection on the same similar level, like the frequencies we all vibrate at? I'm wondering if that's a possibility. Like they say our DNA or cells store memory.
Mm.
Is it possible that, when they talk about when you're in a car accident or something like that, when your head, like, with the CT and all that stuff that's going on, the CTE, if your head is like your brain is like you in your car without a seatbelt, and whenever you get hit, it rocks into the front of your skull and rocks to the back, is it stamping a bunch of memories or things that you've learned onto your dome on the inside?
Absolutely could be. I can tell you a personal anecdote from that. My grandma, is that what, do you say grandma? Do you say grandmother?
You could say both.
Do you say both in the States? You say
I call
grandma?
my grandma Nana.
Nana, we have Nana as well. We use grandma. My grandma, she died a few
Rest in
years
peace.
ago. Yeah, yeah,
Mine
both.
mine died last month.
Oh, sorry to hear that. I remember.
Feel bad for me, you son of a bitch. No, I'm just kidding.
She the last sort of couple of years of her life, she had to go in a care home because she had Alzheimer's and vascular dementia. And I don't know if you know anyone who's had these conditions, but depending on the severity, you basically see their personality fade away over a long period of time, and it's quite surreal. They stop talking after a period of, depending on how severe the illness is and how long it takes, but they stop talking. They sort of become very insular. They don't seem to want to do anything. They need everything doing for them. And my grandma was like this. And I think it was the week before she died in the care home. She fell and banged her head. And the staff at the care home and my dad who went to visit was saying, it's incredible. It was like she was a different person. She started talking with her full Irish accent again. And she was talking about living in Brighton with my granddad. My granddad's been dead 40 years. And they lived together during the war in Brighton. And it was like something just shocked her brain and brought all her personality back. Only fleetingly, because she died soon after. But there's just so much we don't understand about the brain and how it works.
Where did she die at?
In the home,
But where, like location wise?
in my hometown, Preston.
I about to say, because my great grandma did the same thing, like same exact experience, like severe dementia, all that stuff. And then we met her at the hospital in Baltimore. We saw her for the last time, and she died, or she actually slipped and fell and cracked her head open a couple hours later after we left. Because I guess she woke up and she wanted to tell us something, but we had already been long gone. And she got up out of her bed when she wasn't supposed to, and she slipped and fell back. And then
No.
next thing I know, like I remember we got home because it's about 3 hours away. And we got home, and like not even like an hour later, my dad just like tells me she's gone. I'm like, what happened? He's like, well, apparently she needed to tell us something, and she fucking got up out of her bed and slipped and fell and all this stuff. And I was like, wait a minute, Phil, we might have the same family. Like your story was like close to mine. I was like, oh shit, like we might be related. That'd be awesome. I'm a part Amish.
I'm going to have to do my genealogy now and see if I'm related to Robert E. Lee.
Just let me be related to George Foreman. Jesus, let me get a free grill. That's all I want. But it had me thinking, man, like, because imagine, like, they say if you smell a certain thing, it can bring you back to a certain memory. Imagine if you're able at one point, like kind of like Assassin's Creed with the Animus, you're able to unlock someone's genetic code or look in a certain DNA fragment and find a piece of like reincarnation, like find a piece of a memory of something that's been passed down and be able to open that up so much where you can literally create a simulation movie. Like that app Wombo that takes photos and makes them dance to music. Imagine if you could do that with like family photos, you can recreate a movie or something so people can have like more of like acceptance of some of a loss or something.
Well, that made me think. When you were talking about that, these people who were related to Robert E. Lee, they sort of they sort of, without knowing that, had this connection. And was there a biological element to that? What about pheromones? Maybe there's something in your genes that releases a certain type of pheromone, and subconsciously, you can recognize that pheromone scent, if you like, and that's what attracts people.
Everyone has their own scent. I've said that a couple of times on the show. I have a special gift where I can smell somebody's scent. Like my nose for like smelling foods is shit. But when it comes to someone's personal distinct scent, I used to play this game at my old work at the hotel. I would get on the elevator and I would be like, this person was just on the elevator. And then we'd get down to the laundry room and then see that person, ask them, they go, yeah, it just was. So they'd play a game with me. They'd have me sit around the corner. And then whenever the elevator doors would open up, I would take a whiff and I would smell that person. I would say their name. Just whenever I meet somebody instinctually, their scent mixed with whatever, it could be a deodorant, it could be whatever. I immediately think of that person. So as soon as I walk into a room, if I've met that person before, I can say who it is.
Wow, what a shit superpower!
That's what I'm saying. It's like if you ask the
That's
God,
wild.
it's like if you sold your soul for the devil and then you were like, I want to be good at claw machines. And the devil's like, are you fucking sure? I can give you anything you ever want. And you want to be good at claw machines. Yep. Just want to sell my
Have
soul
you
for this.
have you had that since you were a kid?
Yeah. I don't know
Ability.
why. I think it happened when I went to go plug in my PlayStation when I was little and I got shocked really fucking hard.
Hmm.
I remember because I was so scared. I was so little. I ran into my dad's room when he was sleeping, and I was a kid, and I jumped double knees on his chest, just fucking jumped up and hit him right when he was sleeping. He goes, "Holy shit!" And I'm like, yeah. I was like, Dad, I got shocked. And he's like, "What do you want me to do?" I'm like, "I don't know. I just wanted to tell you because it hurt a lot."
Blimey heck. Yes, they do hurt, electric shocks. I think my record is maybe 11 in one morning I've had.
11 and 1. What were you doing on that morning? Was it raining out?
I'm an electrician by day,
Oh, okay.
and
We never
I
talked
was an
about that.
apprentice at the time.
You
And
do
yeah,
you do a
so I've had
dangerous
quite a few.
job, bro.
Yeah, especially if you're not paying attention.
I remember because there's a couple jobs I wanted in my life. I wanted to be a veterinarian, and then
Mm.
I remember when we brought my dog into the vet, and the vet stuck his fingers up my dog's butt, and I was like, What are you doing?" And he goes, "Yeah, we always have to. We all do this." And I'm like, wiping my hands with that career, not doing that one. And then I remember I wanted to
You've got to milk the anal glands.
fuck off. That sounds horrible. But I remember I wanted to be an architect, but I was really bad at math, so that was kind of out the career unless I want a lopsided house that collapses in on someone while they're eating pancakes or some shit. Um, you like that scenario? Someone eating a nice thing of pancakes with that. Oh, where they changed the name of what's her name? Aunt Jemima. It's now Paper Mill Sugar Company.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, they banned Aunt Jemima here.
Oh, yes, of course. Yeah, I've heard about this. And Uncle Ben's Rice as well.
They
He's
still
being
have Uncle Ben.
rebranded. He's being rebranded, I think, isn't he?
I hope not. I just bought 2 things of Uncle Ben today. When I see that face, I think of Peter Parker's uncle that got shot in the
Yeah,
street.
yeah. And it was the face that was used for the advertising. He is related to the business in some way. I remember reading the story about it. I can't remember the exact details, but I seem to think he maybe worked in the restaurant, maybe near the ranch where they were doing the rice. I don't fucking know, but yeah, it's again back to this woke stuff in it. I think most of it's just corporate. I don't know.
You're trying
I
to
don't know.
appease a bunch of people, but then when does the line
Brownie
get
points.
drawn?
Yeah, it's virtue signaling, I think, to an extent, and obviously they think it's worth the payoff in for the marketing exposure they get. I think some of it's just marketing; they actually do it just to get publicity.
I think just it's a bunch of people that are now like trying to get fame by trying to take down giant corporations and all these things. And it's like it's like same thing with Joe Rogan's under fire right now because of what he said. He's been over all these news articles because of what he said about the vaccine. You know, he mentioned that like if you're young, then why do you care about taking it if you're healthy and you're able to, you're not at risk. But then he wasn't worried about all the people that he could infect. And now everyone's like, fuck you, Rogan, you monkey. He starts calling him like a chimp because he looks like a chimp. And I'm like, guys, like what everyone wants to take a shot at somebody higher than them. Just like back in the day during the Greek mythology times and the Roman times, people were tearing down the statues of the Greek gods because they wanted to feel like they were tired of being what felt like oppressed. Why does this being have so much power? Everyone wants to chip down at these giant figures and knock them down, and then they want to claim up there. It's the same thing when you see an activist and they're in the middle of a crowd with a blowhorn. We want this. We want free ramen noodles. And then everyone's like, free ramen noodles. And then it's like, once they get the free ramen noodles, the person's like, but I want more since I started it. And then everyone turns on them. And I'm like, see, everyone will attack you no matter who you are. You need to actually sort through and find the authentic people, not the people that are there because you have their microphone and they're waiting for their fucking turn to speak.
Yeah, and he is a divisive figure, Joe Rogan, isn't he? Because of this political element. The people on the left seem to dislike him because he's sort of pro-gun, I think, isn't he? And they think of him as sort of just a meathead UFC commentator who's not worth listening to.
I
And
appreciate him because he does what I try and do, and that's talk to people from every single perspective. Like he's not just getting all one side of people, he's getting multiple different, perspectives of things too. It's like if you weren't pro witchcraft, you would never talk to someone who's witchcraft. But imagine if you weren't pro witchcraft, but you decided to talk to people that were witchcraft and just have a conversation with them. Like I've seen your recent episode list. You have a lot of insane people on there. I think the last one I watched was about witchcraft, something about witch, something in the title. You had a witch thing. I don't remember what it was called. Help me.
it could have been, we had Georgia Van Relt on last year, who's like an occult practitioner,
It
occult
was not
researcher.
that long ago. Because I remember I fell
Oh,
asleep listening to one of your episodes and it went through a shit ton of your fucking playlists.
I don't know. We don't really have like a definite subject matter. We're in the same vein as you, really. It's whoever we deem interesting. That's who we talk to. But I suppose we do focus quite a bit on ancient history.
You talk
Now, we,
about the Greek Dark Age and the invasion of sea peoples. And then my next one I watched was your polygonal masonry.
yeah, that was Jared Murphy. So that's the sort of lost civilization hypothesis.
What's the
That
hypothesis?
that the sort of the climatic epoch or the temporal epoch that we live in now, the Holocene, that started about 12,000 years ago at the end of the last ice age. And there are a number of authors, researchers, scientists, maybe not scientists, who believe that before that cataclysm, there were other civilizations, quite advanced civilizations, and that our civilization, which we date back to ancient Egypt and Sumeria, like what 4,000 BC, that's not the start of civilization; it's the reboot after the cataclysm, the flood that's in every cultural mythology everywhere you go in the world, whether it's Deucalion from ancient Greece, whether it's the Epic of Gilgamesh, Noah's flood in the Bible, Africa, South America, Australia, everywhere has this. It's a universal myth of the Great Flood. And a lot of people link that to the melting of the ice at the last ice age. And also, people believe that some people survived and that these people then went and rebooted civilization across the globe. It's an interesting hypothesis.
The global reset. Have you
The Great
ever?
Reset.
So I can give you so my mascot for my podcast is the dodo bird. I don't know if you've, and do you know why I picked the dodo bird?
Because it's extinct?
Yeah, but do you know what people think of it?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know what you mean.
When you call someone a dodo, it's not a compliment, right?
Oh right, yeah, yeah. We don't really use that term, but go on.
So people thought the dodo bird died because it was too dumb and it just when it made gone extinct. That's not true. It was actually hunted down by a lot of settlers and killed off for food because there was only one little small island with the dodo birds on it. So they had no natural prey or they had no natural predator. So they just kind of ate berries and fruit and whatever the hell was on the island. And then these settlers came over and killed them all. Now they're starting to think that the dodo wasn't actually stupid for engaging to these settlers. They think that the dodo was so pure, it had no predators and no prey, that it was actually so open to meeting such new things, much like we are open sometimes to meeting new people, unless you're having a bad day and you just want everyone to fuck off. Um, but this dodo bird was so pure that it didn't know what danger was, and it actually got killed off because of its just kindness and openness to these things. So I'm like, oh, it's a fucking misunderstood person or misunderstood bird species, just like myself. So I'm like fucking
That's
mascot.
cool. Now, the sort of evolutionary biologists would probably, rather than calling the dodo pure of heart and welcoming, they would probably use the term naive.
Yeah,
That it was naive in its lack of exposure to predators.
but I like to change the script. I like
Absolutely.
I like to
I
say
like that.
he's a brave heart amongst men.
Absolutely. I like that story. So do you use that in your, I've not seen the dodo bird in any of your, do you use it
Yeah,
in your like, out at work and stuff?
I got a shirt picture that I
Yeah.
did with a dodo bird on it, and then someone made a Twitter for my dodo bird, and I was like, hold on a fucking second, I didn't copyright that, but damn it. And he tweeted at me, and I don't know why. He said, "Stop recording episodes and feed me, you asshole." I'm like, what? Who the fuck is this? Like, who's got my dodo's Twitter? What the hell? But I just think, yeah, I'm gonna probably start including them. I got another one where it's like me and a Scooby Doo type scenario with Poseidon and Bigfoot and my buddy who makes my t-shirts. And it's called the Unbelievables because they're things you couldn't believe in. And I was gonna, instead of Poseidon, put Jesus, but I was like, that would hit
Oh,
some major knots on the religious community. I
yeah,
was
that
gonna
would be
make Jesus a
triggering.
woman, so I was like, that was gonna be a double like salt in the burn and twist that shit. Um, but I put Poseidon, and then I have me holding a dodo, and it looks exactly like it. But I was like, yeah, I like the idea of it too. I mean, most people want like, I want a falcon or I want like a T-Rex, and I'm like, I want a fucking dodo because imagine if those things were like Godzilla size, we'd all be like fucked.
Yeah, and they were flightless, weren't they?
Yeah,
Isn't that
flightless
right?
birds.
Flightless bird. Where did they live? Was it
Some
on an island?
some island called Monsiotos or something like that. It's not Monsantos. It's Monsiat or something. It's French.
Not Montserrat.
It might be. It was a
That's
very
in the,
small island, they said.
that's in the Caribbean. Small island in the Caribbean, Montserrat.
Yeah, I think that's what it
Maybe
was
it's not.
called. It has a T in it, so
Yeah. Oh, cool.
that's all I got.
Yeah. Do you ever think they'll like bring back the dodo? With
They've they've
genetic engineering and stuff.
they've talked about it. I hope they do, but like, what are they just grew human organs inside of a monkey, and I'm like, are we gonna? Anybody notice that Alex Jones is being right about a lot of shit? The only thing, there's a list, they put up a meme of everything Alex Jones has gotten correct. And then right, it says you are here. And then it's the monkey thing. The monkey chimera hybrids is what he talked about. And that's like monkeys and then now human organs with monkeys. And then the next thing below that is time traveling elves, like dimensional elves. And I'm like, if you've taken DMT, you probably know what those are. I've heard some stories about it. I'm like, fuck, man. Can we just like, people are like, oh, well, he can't be right about anything more. I'm like, at this point, he's 10 out of 15. Like, let's just fucking say the rest of the 5 is probably correct.
Yeah. Yeah, but he's just the what would you call him? He's like the personification of tinfoil hat wearing conspiracy theorists, and he's just such a massive target, isn't he? Because he is outrageous in some of the things he says and the way he delivers it.
Well, imagine
It's
I
easy
gave
for
you a
people to beat
book.
with a stick.
Imagine I gave you a book and I hand it to you and I say, this is holds everything in the future. Like, you know how like they say the government has technology 500 years advanced to what we have. Like, imagine some
500?
Well, yeah, it's pretty advanced. Like we probably get the downgrade. Like my theory about Elon Musk, for instance, is like some dudes like the government had electric cars and Tesla, and they were like, all right, well, we don't need this technology anymore. So find the scientist who's ahead of his generation right now, like the one that's in the eye of the public that seems like the most likely person to be able to create this technology, and then give them the plans for it and have them create it. And then now that's like their scapegoat to give us the technology that they don't use anymore, the stuff that's like out of date or some shit. So I'm like
I've
that.
I've heard similar things about Elon, that he might be a front man for certain organizations. I don't know. I don't know if I believe it or not.
Why can't they just give me like a really energetic crackhead that's like pitching all these ideas at me? Like Gary V, you gonna let that crackhead out hustle you? I'm like, probably. He's a hustler. That's why crackheads do so good, is because they're always about selling the drug and doing the drug. There's nothing else in between. Everyone else is like, well, I gotta make sure this Monday I'm going to do this. And I'm like, fucking crackheads are already on it. Like they're fucking 20 steps ahead of you and they're grinding their teeth down to powder.
So what do we need to do? So do we need to get Elon Musk on crack then? Is that what we're saying?
I think the world needs to be on crack.
Oh God!
You know how many fights would be solved?
Really? I don't know. I've never tried it.
You
I
could,
hear it's quite Moorish.
the activists would be so much more powerful if they were doing crack.
What, physically? Do you get insane physical strength
From crack?
Yeah.
Yes. It's
Yeah,
like
all right.
PCP.
God.
You're faster, stronger, better than before.
I can't. No one can mention PCP without me thinking of that video of James Brown being interviewed on national TV.
It's the best damn video in the world. I put up that GIF on my Twitter. I was like, "Do you want to be James Brown famous, or do you want to be regular famous?" And people are like, "What's James Brown famous?" I'm like, "He got arrested for being in a high-speed pursuit because someone shit in his toilet. He waved a shotgun at him. That's a fucking G. That's a champion."
Yeah, I'm sure we've talked about James Brown before.
Yeah, he looks like a Thundercat in that video.
Yeah, he does.
His hair was all out of whack.
He does. He looks like Panthro.
He said, "I feel good."
Yeah. Oh my, he is a legend.
What do the ladies think of you? I make love good. He's like, what? Grinding his teeth, everything.
Doesn't he try and cop off with the interviewer as well? Doesn't he try and flirt with the interviewer?
Yeah, that's what he does. She's asking him questions. He's like, yeah. He's like, it's like, imagine talking to Little John. Little John, what are you doing today? Yeah. It's like, all right, Little John, do you want to go to Applebee's? Okay. It's like, all right.
Yeah, well, there's no one. He's sort of no one's replaced him. Has anyone replaced him in like the celebrity world?
No,
for just being such a nutcase.
What I've been talking about recently, I'm sure you've understood, is like, so this is where I think the world's going to head to. So you know how they had that AI recreate the work of Jimi Hendrix and Amy Winehouse? Like, did you hear about that?
No.
So you know who Amy Winehouse is, right?
Sure.
They got this robotic program to scan all of Amy Winehouse's songs and works and then recreate it like a new song, a brand new song using her style and algorithm, like predict it. And it sounds so fucking good, dude. It's like spot on. I have to send you this song. You're going to shit your pants when you hear it. It's like, this is Amy Winehouse. And my fear is, and they did it with Jimi Hendrix too. My fear is, remember during coronavirus, they were talking about doing a hologram of certain actors, like, or certain people like Tupac, for instance. They had a hologram.
Yeah.
So my fear is that they're going to recreate new works of songs by dead artists. Like, let's say they recreate Michael Jackson's new works. Then they create a hologram to play on stage. And then you see Michael Jackson touring. Who's going to manage his Twitter? And then how long until someone ends up tweeting something under Michael Jackson's account that's very, very against what the society thinks? And then everyone hates Michael Jackson, and now you ruined his career, even though he's dead and he's not even performing anymore.
Yeah, it's, I mean, my initial reaction in hearing about this story is, maybe disgust is too strong a word, but I don't think you should be fucking with these people's legacies.
Yeah. Like, how long until they bring back Chris Farley?
Let it lie. Just let yeah, I don't know if you use that term. Let it lie. Just let it go. Let it go. Appreciate it for what it is. And I would like to, I'm particularly interested in the Hendrix one, because I'm a big fan of Hendrix, and I've played for a number of years.
You can listen to the Hendrix one. You'll appreciate it.
I'm guessing it's not going to be. I think there's something magical in the artistic endeavor that creates things like Amy Winehouse and Jimi Hendrix. I hope that AI is not capable of reproducing that.
The Winehouse one is 100% like it sounds better, to be honest with you. The Jimi Hendrix one, it sounds like Hendrix, but it's not as good as Hendrix. But then there's the Nirvana one, and the Nirvana one is just complete like I'm not even it sounds like a cover band version of Nirvana. It doesn't sound like the actual one. But if you're a Jimi Hendrix fan, do you think about the conspiracy theory that he was killed by his manager?
Certainly, yeah.
So
Hey,
what do you
Joe,
know about it?
where you going with that gun in your hand? Um, to be honest, I've not read enough into it. I really should. I don't tend to read autobiographies, but maybe if I was going to read one, I read one of the Led Zeppelin ones. If I was going to get one, maybe Jimi Hendrix one would be a good one. I've seen the biopic with Andre 3000 playing Jimi Hendrix
Yeah.
from Outcast, and that
Yeah.
was a pretty gash film. And it sort of finished at Monterey Festival where he sets his guitar on fire. So I don't know enough about the circumstances around his death. What do you think is the motive? What's the motive? What was the motive for the manager to kill him?
Apparently, he was having a falling out with his manager because his manager wanted to go on tour and all these places, and he got into an argument with him. And then somehow, like 2 weeks after, he ends up dying.
Hmm.
Um, it's crazy because if you look at like Elvis, for instance, Elvis' manager had made Elvis not go on tour to all these different countries because of fear that he was going like he put in his mind like, oh my God, you're going to be like, all these dangers in his head. Like you're going to lose money, you're going to lose all this stuff, you're going to lose everything. And it's like maybe he would be alive today and he wouldn't have died on the shitter.
Yeah,
Like that's a thing you have to think about. The issue is when money gets involved. Imagine someone killing your creativity. It's what we talked about in the beginning with sponsorships. Blocking your creativity on the aspect of for money purposes, what people can sell. People want to sell something that's open to the public rather than something that, would you rather create something that you want to create or create something people tell you to create, all on the idea of a paycheck? And I'm like, I feel like it ends up turning the wrong route. It always ends up corrupted when something gets their hands in it.
and there's a big modern example of this in Britney Spears, isn't there?
Her
And
documentary on Hulu.
yeah, again, it's not so. I'm not really into pop culture anymore, but I hear bits and bobs about the Britney Spears situation and the role of her father, and there seems to be some shady stuff going on. And it's the same thing. History, what did Mark Twain say? History doesn't repeat itself, but it rhymes. And it seems like it's a similar thing happening with Britney and possibly the exploitation of her by her father that you're talking about with the Colonel and Elvis and Jimi Hendrix and Joe.
It's hard because like we talk about child stars, for instance, how they all kind of end up like in this crazy rabbit hole. I'm like, because I don't think there's no class to prepare you on a level of fame when you just hit famous. And I don't even look at like the rise to fame and all that. I look at the downfall from it. Like imagine you being at like this peak and everyone loving you and everything you ever do, and you're in the eyes of the public 24/7. And the next thing you know, you're not in the eyes of the public anymore. They're on to a next trend. Like for me, my biggest like heart went out to Ronda Rousey. She was top name fighter. Everyone fucking talked about her. And then she lost and no one talked about it anymore. She got downgraded to like Fast and Furious films. Like it's fucking that downfall has to be the most psychological warfare on your fucking head. Like Conor McGregor, when he was winning all these things, I'm like, I'm fearing when he does lose and then he starts losing even more. Because once you let in that door to a loss, another one ends up coming down and you don't feel that invincible edge, that thing that's in your head that I can stop anything, stop anyone. Once that first loss comes in, it's another loss after a loss after a loss. And then that downfall is fucking dreadful.
And these are grown adults. When you bring up the child stars, I mean, there's no child psychologically can be, like I said, there's no school for it. There's no way you can be prepared for being launched into fame at how old was that Michael Jackson? About 6 years old when the
Yeah.
Jackson 5 took off. I mean, you're still growing. You're a child. You're developing, and to develop under those circumstances, I think it would be a miracle to get through that without any sort of psychological damage or baggage going forward into your adulthood.
It's kind of like Justin Bieber. When I remember, because Justin Bieber's a little bit older than me, But I remember when his first song came out and everyone was like, "Oh my God, he was like a teen girl idol." Like people had posters of him in his bedroom. Um, and when he started going a little bit crazy and started like he pissed in a mop bucket and all that, and that video went out and everyone's like, he's trash and he's a piece of shit and he's a scum kid. It's like you're not prepared to have that level of fame. I mean, you're trying to impress people and you have all this amount of pressure on you. Eventually you start acting out just to make your friends laugh. And it sucks because this is where I think a lot of rapper beef comes from. You end up getting this thing into your head where it's like, that's what I liked about Dre. Dre didn't give a fuck about the beef. He wanted to create music and he didn't want any of that shit. And it's so hard because when you get involved with that, who's better, who's bigger, who's tougher, you see videos like just what happened recently with that guy that stole an $80,000 watch from somebody. And the dude tried to he confronted him and they got into a fight over it. And the dude's like, I got money. He starts pulling out hundreds of dollar bills out of this duffel bag and throwing it on the floor. And he's like, you stole my watch, though. And he was shouting it out on Instagram, like, look whose watch I got. He gave it to me as a gift. And the dude's like, you fucking stole it from me. It's like you end up seeing this beef. And it's like, now you can't back down because now everybody's going to think you're a bitch. And then now you have to step up because, you got to do this manly thing, or you got to do this thing of fighting and standing your ground and making sure you don't back down. I'm like, what happened just to creating good shit? Like, why does everything have to be like for me? I don't create an episode thinking, oh, I got to get this famous person on because they're going to shout me out and I'm going to get so many more follows. That never works. Then you get one fucking person that unfollows you fucking later. Like you got to create shit because you like it and you enjoy doing you enjoy building your audience the way that they come for you or they come for something that you're interested in, rather than building it because you have a famous person on, because that fame never lasts. They're there for that person. They're like, you see so many podcasts that reach out to these number one top names. And I'm like, I'm one that reaches out to a couple of comedians, but I realized it was better conversation to have regular people on or just people I want to talk to because it goes deeper. It feels less scripted. I mean, I'm one of the people that told Johnny Pemberton to fuck off. Son of Zorn.
Johnny Pemberton?
Son of Zorn.
Son of who?
He doesn't. You'll know him if you saw his face. He was on 21 Jump Street and all that.
21? I'm fucking lost.
I'm sure he's a good guy. I remember we had a planned scheduled podcast and he never showed up. And then he messages me a couple of months later, like, hey man, when are we going to do that show? And I'm like, I just saw a video of you last week on another person's podcast. And now you're messaging to do mine. I was like, I'm good, bro. I'm going to wipe my hands clean with you.
Yeah. You're absolutely right that you've got to be doing it for the right reasons. And the thing I enjoy about it is, like what you said, it's talking to different people, and it's not about getting the most famous person. It's who you think is going to be interesting and getting different people's perspective. And we're pretty lucky. We've had quite a lot of, and you have as well, a lot of people with a real expertise in a particular subject.
And then you had me on.
Yeah. Well, recently you had your astrophysicist back, the lady from Lebanon.
She's been on your podcast?
No, you have. You had
her
back.
Yeah. She's been on 3 times.
Yeah. But, I mean, we have similar guests, and it's a real treat to be able to tap someone's knowledge. Someone who's got a certain level of expertise in a given subject. That's a privilege in a way to us, I think.
I like it because, especially with Dr. Serene Nemi, she's became a really good friend. Just because you end up realizing all these people that they do have, there's a sense of and I've been talking about it a lot recently, is the pressure in academia. There's now this giant push in academia where you can't research the things you want to research because your school will stop funding you in fear that you're going to go against what society deems fit. And then next thing you know, they're going to lose funding. The school's worried about being under fire under certain things of what people don't agree with and where this cancel culture is going and things of that sort. So then it's now you can't research the things you want to research. You can't talk about the things you want to talk about. I mean, people are like, my tweets are my own. When she came on for the 3rd time, she was like, I want to let you know that this is me saying this, not my career, not anything that's going to backlash onto my school or my work or anything like that. And it's so hard that you're not able to be yourself or say how you feel or say how you think at that time. The best part about especially for me, for instance, when I'm talking and you listen to an episode from a year ago, that's what I thought and that's what I felt at that time. You know what I mean? That's when you hear people's shows. Like for Joe Rogan, over the years, he's changed. His thoughts have changed. His feelings have changed. His moods have changed. You've probably been in an episode where you've been heated about something, and then you've went off, and then like a month later, you were talking about it later with a less.
Completely.
Yeah. And I think that's what's awesome is that you get to see that person and logging in at that moment of what they're feeling about what they're understanding at that time. And then later, if they get more information or something like that, don't sit there and hate on the person. Fucking look at that as like, oh my God, like they're showing growth, they're showing change, they're showing a different perspective. It's interesting to see that change.
Yeah, and a podcast is a snapshot in time. I'm sure, without a doubt, anyone who wanted to go back through our 180 something episodes will find something and be able to play it back to me, and I'll think, oh my God, why did I say that? You know, because we're growing as individuals. We're on a journey, and we're, you know, if you're doing it right, you should be trying to learn as you go and sort of have a modicum of self-improvement about what you're doing. And I've definitely said things on the podcast in the past that I would never say today. And that's not being self-censoring because of woke shit. It's because I've grown as a person and my consciousness, and I realize that that's not necessary. You're saying this for the wrong reason. You'll find that you maybe say something for a shock value to get people's attention or something, and it's just not worth it. You've got to be honest with yourself.
I can think
And
of
it
a
takes a
specific
level of introspection to be able to do that. A lot of people go through life and they don't analyze their own thoughts or behaviors. They're just too engrossed in the idiot box of the blue screen, the black mirror. Sorry, what were you going to say?
I can think of a specific example. The guy who has me blocked, Papa John. I made a shirt with him holding a pizza with a head on it, and I called him a cult leader and sent it to him, and he blocked me. I've been sending him emails apologizing and saying, because I saw his documentary, his little thing about like what actually happened, and I realized it was a company that did him dirty. Now, I'm not going to back down and saying that there is something a little bit wrong about you. I think you might be an alcoholic, Papa John, but I think you're a good dude, and I think that they did you wrong because I saw the whole video, the actual recordings, and when they kept the recording going, the company that he hired was called Laundry Service, which was supposed to help him clean up his act. And you heard the guy, after he ended the call with Papa John, with the phone still recording, say, we're going to bury this fucking guy. He says it in the live recording thing, and they released it. And it took forever for him to be able. Imagine that, though. That's what I talk about, like the perspective of things. Imagine you're telling all your friends you're not a racist and you're not a piece of shit, but everyone knows from something that you said that's been taken out of context that you did do that. And you imagine you're trying to convince people that you're not. And then finally the information comes out. Now you have to relook at your fucking friends and think who actually believed me and who didn't.
Still buy me. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And those people are usually in short supply, aren't they?
Yeah.
It's yeah.
It's fucking rough world out there when everyone wants to bite somebody and try and push someone under the bus. It's so much easier to pull grandma back rather than push her in front of that speeding train.
Yeah, but there's nothing you can. All the only thing you can do is look at yourself, isn't it? You know, you can't sort of go out thinking you're going to change the world. The only thing you have real control over is your own behavior and your own reactions, and you've got to start there. A bit like and Jordan Peterson says, tidy your room. Yeah. You know, get your own house in order before you try and upend society and rewrite.
What I like about Jordan Peterson is I think that he goes against a lot of things society doesn't like, but I think he's being very analytical. And I heard someone mention to him, like, you trust Jordan? You ever read the book Empire of the Summer Moon about the Comanches?
No, not familiar with that one.
Someone told me that book who studies like indigenous studies that was severely racist said like, they said that book was severely racist. Not that they're severely racist. They said that book was severely racist. But even talking to this person, I didn't post the episode because it was like they were supposed to be an educator, but they talked down to me so hard, like I was an idiot and all this type of stuff.
Sure.
And I realized you're just way too woke. Like it's one of those people that were like way too like, we need to give back all the land to the Native Americans. We're horrible. And I'm like, what? And they're like, you're American. You're horrible. I'm like, you're from Belgium where you had King Leopold. Like, that's fucking bad.
Yeah, this is the problem with sort of revisionist history is how far do you go? Because, you know, I'm not upset at the Italians, because of the Roman Empire taking over the British Isles in 50 BC.
It's just
How far back do you go? If you look at his human history, I'm reading a book at the moment, The New Model of the Universe by P.D. Uspensky, and he hits the nail on the head. He calls our notion of history the history of crime, because it's all it is just punctuations of insurrection, rebellions, murder, fratricide, war. That's all it is. And, if you go back far enough, anyone can find something in their history where they've been oppressed. I mean, it's just the story of humanity. Well, life is suffering.
It's so hard because whenever the people get put into power that probably shouldn't have the power, they're the people that are fighting for it. See, the issue is the people that should be in power are the ones that don't want it at all. Like Benjamin Franklin, he was 60 years old when he was fucking helping them with the Declaration of Independence, where all those guys were in their 30s. The reason why is I think he was like the Illuminati guy. He was like, I'm going to set this shit up for the whole civilization to do what I want later down the line. But you could tell by looking at pictures of George Washington, the dude obviously had an ego issue. He looked like he wanted to be in power. Everything was like, I could just stare at the man and see like, oh my God, like this guy is obviously going to go money hungry with power. But Benjamin Franklin was like, I don't really give a fuck. Like, like John Hancock, I don't really give a fuck. Like, Andrew Jackson, I don't really give a fuck. Like, but there are certain people that are going for power. Like when people say this person's evil, nobody that's evil is not just sitting on the sideline. They're doing something. They're doing something to get the eye or get the attention or get people to spin in whatever way they want to spin them in. People that are political figures. There's no one that gets elected into office that is a very good person. Whether it's Trump, whether it's Biden, there's something about them that they're trying to push a narrative because they want power. They want something to go their way, and that's why they're doing that. They call it change, but really they're changing it to fit their narrative, not the one that's like the biggest thing that pisses me off right now. Oh my God. Here we go. I'm about to rant. So Biden declared, and this is what people who are Biden supporters say, and I'm not Biden or Trump. I don't give a shit, but I don't like bullshit. And this is what I don't like is that Biden said we're going to pull out of Iraq and not on 9/11. And I'm like,
Afghanistan.
Yeah, but you picked that fucking day as a big symbol of like we're gonna do it on 9/11 in honor of the people we lost on 9/11. I'm like, we could be fucking out now. And people's argument is, oh, Biden's ending the war. No, he's not. We could be already out of it. He's fucking waiting until 9/11 to make some great homage that like it's because it's on 9/11. I'm like, well, what the fuck are we doing?
Yeah, and just wait for it. When they do pull out, it'll turn out that, oh, by the way, we're leaving behind some contractors. They're not the armed forces, but some, just a few thousand security contractors will still be there.
A couple laundry service people.
Yeah. It never ends, does it? I mean, 20 years now.
Yeah, who's that one guy that was talking about Brexit? And like a bunch of people on Twitter were lighting his ass up. I forgot what his last name was, but I was like clicking it. And I was like, oh, this doesn't have anything to do with my country. And I clicked out of it.
Probably Nigel Farage, if it was.
That's who it is. What did he say? What exactly were people upset that he said? Because I was like, I swear to God, it was 2 seconds into the clip and I clicked out of it because I was like, this has nothing to do with where I live.
He's probably the most hated politician in the UK, Nigel Farage.
Oh, he's a politician. Thought he was just some random like TikToker.
He's a politician and he's been on a crusade for the last, I want to say 25, 30 years to get the UK out of the European Union. And because it came to fruition in 2016, I think it was the referendum. He's very divisive and people absolutely hate him. I mean, they physically hate him because he was instrumental in getting the UK out of the European Union.
It's kind of like when I talk to someone over here and they're either like a Republican or a Democrat or something. It's like that with Brexit over there. Like whenever I get into a conversation with someone from the UK, some people are pro it and some people fucking hate it. And I'm like, I don't I don't, I have, like, I think every country should be concerned about themselves. And like, when I saw that that video did not involve anything about America, I was like, I would like to know more to educate, but at the same time, like, I can't just come into a fucking video that everybody's retweeting. I need to like fucking start from scratch. It's like what happens with, we're probably going to be attacked by North Korea in like the next month. I'm guessing it because Biden fucking talks some shit like an idiot. Someone forgot to pull, and I'm upset on so many occasions with Biden because he was saying something about gun shootings, and he's like, "There's been 8," and then he squints like he's reading something, goes 10, and I'm like, he just fucking read something, like he just read something, and he said something about Korea is an issue that is going to be stopped. They're not going to last much longer, and
Really?
he said that, and Kim Jong Un said, "I'm tired of dealing with this. We're going to have this out now." And it fucking was like it a trending hashtag was like World War on Twitter. Then it was Christ has risen. And then it says the blood will run red. And it was like all this shit. And I'm like, oh my God, what happened? And everyone's like,
Is that this weekend?
that
Is
was
that
this
happening
weekend.
now?
Yeah. You saw some of the
Oh.
tweets?
No. I try and stay away from Twitter as much as I can.
Oh my God.
But
It was
the thing is,
that's the thing I communicate with you on. What the fuck?
yeah, I don't. It's such a time suck. That's the problem. If I go on there, I'll be on there for an hour.
Yeah.
And then after the hour's up, I'll think, what have I just spent an hour doing?
You've been watching shrimp tails get pulled out of cereal and things of that sort.
Just watching people argue with each other. That's what I've done.
I don't
All
know.
it is people arguing with each other.
I don't know if it's just people's algorithm or if it's my own algorithm, but when I was looking at the trending hashtags, it was like politics. Then it was like cinnamon toast crunch, shrimp tails. Then it was like all this random shit. I'm like, this just shows like people's attention spans, like on the fucking vast variety. It's like when you're ready to masturbate, you look up porn, and then afterwards you're like Googling shit on Amazon. Like, what the fuck? You just go back to a normal self. Like, you know what I'm talking about? I'm not fucking, don't make me feel like the odd man out here.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay. I think it's because Wish is so damn enticing with them showing me all these GIMP masks and shit. And then I'm like, okay.
What is going on with that's such a weird website, isn't it?
They never show you those things either.
I keep getting sent pictures of people that have got their phone out and they screenshot things that have been put in the like a Wish advert, and it just I don't get it for some reason. Do you have to have an account with Wish? Is it like eBay?
I don't know. I'm on Facebook and I'm like scrolling through, and Wish shows me like, here's a lightsaber, here's a fucking real life Millennium Falcon you can drive. And then I'm like, oh my God, it sounds awesome. And I click it, and then I go into it, and it's like, here's a Swiss Army knife and then a glow in the dark flashlight. I'm like, where the fuck was the lightsaber in the Millennium Falcon?
Oh God.
I want to know how that ships to my house. Do they fly it over here?
No, I don't know.
Those were the dumbest commercials. You ever have that shake flashlight where you shake it and it powers the battery and then it turns on?
No, we had wind up flashlights, but not shaky shake flashlights.
A wind up?
Yeah, it's got a little dial. You wind it up.
Kind of like with the TVs back in the day where you had to crank it and then you broke the fucking crank and you're like, well, now we're not watching Family Feud.
Wow. I don't think I've ever seen a crank TV.
You've never seen Drake and Josh before?
Oh, I remember this from about 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Like a show?
Yeah, it's a Nickelodeon show, but the guy on there was Crazy Steve. He's known to freak out. And he was like, crank the TV. He was yelling at somebody, and the guy was cranking the TV, and it was Dora the Explorer. And he's like, I don't have the map, Dora. You have the map. And he's like screaming in that exact tone. And he's like, the kid's cranking, and the thing broke. So he goes, ha. It broke, and he goes, and he just starts freaking out, and it's like the funniest shit. And I'm like, I remember those fucking TVs. Like, you used to have to do so much, like move the antennas, put tinfoil on it, and do all this shit to make sure your TV goes on there. Now it's like you have to call someone and say, hey, can you send a link to my router to reset my internet? And they're like, sure. And then they do that. And I don't think they're doing a damn thing, to be honest with you, because I sat on tech support and I was like, yeah, my internet's out. Here, I'm gonna send a code to your router. And then like a minute of silence, nobody said anything. And she goes, is it back on? I'm like, no, I still have no internet. She goes, hold on just another moment. Then it was 5 minutes of pure silence where I go, are you there? And then she goes, yeah, I'm just doing something. Yeah, it should work now. I'm like, it's not working now. Well, I'll have someone come out there and fix it. I'm like, so I have all day in my house with no internet. And they're like, yep. Sorry, they'll be there between tomorrow between probably 6 a.m., 7 a.m. till 5 p.m., somewhere in that time zone. I'm like, wonderful. I'm going to spend my Saturday sitting inside the house all day. You know what? Since I don't have internet, I'm going to find a better way to amuse myself by sticking a gun in my mouth. And I hung up the phone.
God.
I'll see that bitch at 7 a.m. Watch.
I think the most we had an outage of the internet for I think about 5 days, and that
Oh
was
my
pretty rough.
God. How many
Yeah.
phone games did you play?
Phone what?
Phone games.
Oh, do you know what? I have like a wild what do you call it, like 4G, so I was all right, but no Netflix or anything like that, no Amazon Prime, and I don't watch TV, so I was absolutely fine with it.
About 2 days in, you were ready to start a fire in your fucking living room like cavemen, like fucking.
If I'm to be honest, I quite enjoyed it.
There
I
are.
might just cut the wire when I go back in the house in a minute.
I remember I got this is a while ago, but I found an edible in my grandma's house when we were cleaning it out, like getting
Mm,
rid of all the stuff and everything. I found one of her edibles. Apparently, towards the end, she thought it would be a good idea to try it. And I remember I ate like half the package, like little fruit slices, like the
yeah.
little candy fruit slice things that have like sugar on it and all that. And I ate
Yep.
two of them, and it tasted like you're eating pepper. And I was like, oh, it fucking tastes terrible. And my mom goes, "You're supposed to eat a quarter of one of those." And I'm like, I ate the fucking package, and she's like, "Oh, how could you?" And I'm like, "There's no fucking stopping it now." I didn't feel anything until like I think it was like 4 or 5 hours later. I was editing a podcast episode, and the person that I was editing happened to be from like Korea, so they spoke in a very like thick accent, and I was high editing it, and then I remember because the next day I had to re-listen to it. Like, did I edit that properly? Because I remember I was like editing, and then I started beatboxing, and then I got so high I just kept beatboxing, and I totally forgot about fucking editing the episode. And I remember I posted it. I was like, oh, at least thank God I did it properly. Apparently, I was functional enough. But I remember I spent 4 hours on my phone editing all my notifications and everything on my phone. And the reason why it took 4 hours, it probably would have took 30 minutes if I was sober, but I would click into my settings, then click an app, and I would go to where it says remove all notifications. And I would look at it and I'd be like, do I want to remove the banners? Do I want to remove the headlines? Do I want to remove the sounds? I kind of like that ding it makes. And I remember that, but I spent all those hours removing it. So now I only get notifications if I'm tagged in something, and that's it. And a message, I'll get a message, but everything else, there's no sounds, there's no notifications. I don't get retweet likes. I don't get any of that shit because it'll fucking corrupt your mind when your phone's going off. And it's like, it'll be 5 o'clock in the morning, my time. I'll be working out or something, and I'll get notifications about people in Australia that are messaging me, liking all my stuff and retweeting something. I'm like, fuck, like this is my only time to fucking sort out my anger issues. And then fucking we go down this
Yeah.
rabbit hole where I start messaging and forgetting about the therapy that I'm doing. And next thing I know, it's fucking, all right, let's do a podcast. And I'm on a podcast. Let me tell you about people that keep messaging me during my workouts. And I'm just fucking talking about that person that they don't know it is them.
It requires so much discipline to
Yeah.
sort of set aside the time. It's like I fall away from it all the time, and then I say to myself, right, I'm just gonna have half an hour a day or something, which is a day where I check emails, check notifications, check whatever it is that's going on with the podcast or whatever. And it's just so tempting because it's always there, isn't it? And you're just filling time. Oh, I'll just check my emails. I fucking checked them half an hour ago. Why am I checking them again?
That's like
You know,
masturbation. It's like your dick is just there. And it's like, got no internet. How many times? What's my record for today? 27?
you end up with blue balls doing that.
I think it's more chafing. Like, you ever hear Patton Oswalt's joke where he was like, I got to the gym and I started running on the treadmill, but my shorts were too tight, where his like dick kept rubbing against his leg. And he's like, I realized I had to stop, hop off the treadmill and walk out because I realized I had chafed my dick. And I was like, fucking, I never knew Patton Oswalt was that type of comedian. I always remember him from like the little kid shows and the movies and shit. And then you realize he's like this fucking it's like kind of when people go to see David Cross and they think he's like the guy from Alvin and the Chipmunks, the manager dude.
Right.
And they get to his comedian show and he's all about like fuck Trump and all this stuff. And you're like, oh my God, this is not who we pay. I thought this was Alvin and the Chipmunks guy. And this is not my kids. I got to cover their ears.
Yeah. Oh dear.
I think the shaming starts when you're a kid and you're watching a movie and your parents used to cover up your eyes to shield you from the nudity. And you're like, just let them see a titty. Just let them see a titty. They won't be scared of it at that point. Or maybe it'll scare them so much they never look up porn. I don't know.
Yeah, I've yet to experience that from the other perspective as a parent, but I'm sure it's going to happen. One day I will be watching something, and because it's awkward for the parents as well, I think, as well
Yeah.
as for the kids. I remember being a kid when something came on TV and there was some nudity, and I'd be like, "Oh God, swallow me up, world," because you're watching it with your parents.
I remember we had movie night at my house. And you know what movie I chose to watch because I thought it was a superhero movie?
Showgirls.
No. Is that a
Oh.
superhero movie? I immediately, when you said that, I thought RuPaul's Drag Race.
No,
No, but guess. It starts with a W.
a W.
My logo for my podcast is off of Doctor Who.
Doctor Who?
Not the show Doctor Who, but like Doctor Who.
Oh, Doctor Who.
I have laser beams coming out of my eyes. I am Dr. Manhattan.
Dr. Manhattan?
Yeah, that's what it's supposed to be, is Dr. Manhattan, except I'm not blue.
Right, this is The Watchman.
So I watched The Watchman because I thought it was going to be a good movie when I was 14 years old with my parents and my brother. And then immediately, like, it's a giant naked blue guy fucking this chick. And my dad just goes, good job. Great movie pick. And I'm like, oh, I was thinking superheroes, not this.
Oh, dear.
It was
I've
the
never
same.
seen it.
You've never seen Watchmen?
No,
Dude, it's a great fucking movie. Just don't watch it with your kids.
Right. Do you see his how much of the blue man do you see? Do you see his naked buttocks?
People say you never see his dick, but you see like the ball throw. You see everything that goes
Really?
like down to like right above the stem, I'd say.
Oh my God. And then his ball's blue.
Well, you don't see his balls. You see everything above, like right where the dick starts.
Right. Okay.
Like you see the blank triangle where there would be hair, and then you don't see the rest of it from below there. And then you see his ass a bunch of times. And then when he grows the size of a skyscraper, starts blowing people up, you're like, all the like, because so it's hard to explain The Watchmen, but it's like a gritty version of like if you took DC and then made it darker than DC would ever go. So like they're fighting in like the Vietnam War, and Dr. Manhattan just comes out the size of a skyscraper and just starts blowing up people with his mind. And like fucking people are exploding all over the place. I'm like, I think they're not even running in fear at this giant man. They're running in fear because he's fucking naked and you're just seeing this dick above fields of rice. Like that's the fucking bad part.
Yeah, it'd be like a coach-sized tallywhacker, wouldn't it? Flapping about.
It's a good movie. It's good. It's a very good movie, but yeah, it's very dark. Don't watch it with your kids. Like I watched it with my parents. It was uncomfortable. It was like when I found out my grandma was a lesbian at the age of like 20. And I realized when I was a kid and I used to go up there on weekends, I pulled out this movie and I thought she had roommates. I didn't know that they were lovers. Shout out to her because shout out to me. I never even judged. I never even questioned. Explains a lot more now that I'm older. But I remember I picked out a movie and I was watching it and there was a lesbian scene. And I remember running up to the DVD player, shutting it off and saying, I'm sorry. And then going into the guest room and watching TV in there because I felt so embarrassed. And I realized, oh my God, I probably was turning them on.
Oh dear. See,
I always thought they slept in the same bed because I was staying over. So I would get the guest room. I thought they were just roommates. And then I realized, oh, no. They didn't have any because they weren't married. They were just like dating. So they lived together. So there were never any photos of each other, like in wedding outfits or anything like that. So I never even questioned. And then I remember like all these times he used to go out to eat and I was a chubby kid. So I thought when people were staring at us, it was just me. Like they were staring at me because I was like this fat kid or something like that, or a wacky kid. And then I realized, oh, this was back before that was like a common thing. Like people were more open about it. This was back when like that was like weird and that was like taboo. And
Taboo, yeah.
yeah, and I never even knew. I remember asking her later. I was like, "Yeah, I didn't even know." She's like, "Well, good on you for not questioning it." I was like, "I didn't. I didn't. You always wore a dress like a grandma would, and then your roommate or whoever your lover would wear like pants, tucked in shirt, short haircut. We'd ride roller coasters and stuff together. I never even questioned. You guys were just so normal, like seemed like normal people living together.
It's the innocence of childhood, isn't it?
Yeah, and then you
And
become a
then
perverted bastard when you get older.
it gets compromised, doesn't it? As
Yeah.
you're exposed to different ideas as you're growing up, and you lose that innocence. It's such a weird thing, isn't it? I don't know.
You've got to have one of those moments in your life. If I just divulge that, you got to give me something. Come on.
What kind of what? A moment with a lesbian in a film?
No, any moment where it was like, oh, you didn't even realize like something.
Yeah, on a similar taboo, on a racial taboo. So I have two cousins who are black, and they were adopted, and I must have been, I don't know, about 12 or 13 years old before I realized that there was something different, that they weren't just related to me. You know,
Really?
you don't, yeah, yeah. You just didn't see them as, they were just my cousins. The race thing, the color, it never crossed my mind
That's
until I guess I got to a certain age.
that's what I think is important. That like even if they're adopted, it doesn't matter their color, their gender, whatever. They're still your fucking family, no matter what.
Yep, absolutely.
That means if anybody fucks with them, you get to kick their ass.
Yeah, yeah. That's the only example that comes to mind of childhood innocence that gets corrupted as you get older. Yep.
Oh, the ages. Why?
Yeah.
What happened? Why do you have to expire? Like a can of tuna never expires. Why do people expire?
Why do we die?
No, why do we just get ruined by society and then become these fucking people that are all built up with ideas of like, this person has a reverse mohawk. What the fuck? And you're like, oh, why do you care? Why do you care? Are you gonna stop a conversation with that man or woman?
I mean, the psychologists would talk about probably in and out groups, wouldn't they? And that there's some sort of tribal root in our psychology which causes us to uh, point out the other. There's like an othering because someone isn't like us, and this tribal nature. It's everywhere. It's Man United, Manchester City. It's, are you an Apple or are you Microsoft? Are you Apple or are you Android? Are you a Democrat or Republican?
Are you a flat
Are you
earther or an earther?
are you Brexit or a Remainer? It's everywhere. This duality, isn't it? In
I,
every part of your life,
I wish
people
people would be
just
like,
love
are
people
you
love other people.
are you a big dick or a small dick? That's how
Or
we
a no
choose our
dick.
porns.
Or a no dick. Don't
Oh,
forget the no dicks.
what about, can we judge our belly buttons? Are you an innie or an outie?
Innie.
You're an innie too?
Yeah, that's normal, in it. Aren't the
No,
outies
out,
weirdos?
outies are more normal than innies.
Really?
Yeah.
God, you've shattered my paradigm. I
I can
thought I was normal.
I can shatter another one for you. Ready? So there were the two twins that were conjoined with like two heads. They had a kid and they had twins. And during the circumcision, something went wrong and they accidentally snipped off the kid's like his his penis. And they're just now gonna tell him that he was a girl from birth instead of telling him he was a boy. And I'm like,
What? Fuck.
yeah, like that's a mind fuck, man. That's how kids end up fucking hurting themselves, or someone ends up killing themselves when they find out that like, then you're adopted. It's like that's a moment you got to be like, hang on a second, before you stick that gun in your mouth. Let me tell you about who your real family is. They're all psychopathic killers. You were raised in a better home. It's like, okay, 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 okay. Then he just starts firing everybody else around him.
God, oh my god. God, I've never heard that one. That's something else I have to look up now. So, Mortal Kombat fatalities,
Dick transplant. Add that one in there.
dick transplant.
John Hopkins was the first place to do their first dick transplant.
Was that Billy Bob? What's he called? John Wayne Bobbitt.
God damn it! Why does everybody know who the fuck that person is? I've said that like 5, 6 episodes now. I've asked everybody, do you know who Lorena Bobbitt is? And everyone's like, that's the person who chopped that dude's dick off. And I was like, why does everybody fucking know that? I did not know her name. I knew the act, but I didn't. My thought was this: nobody creates this scenario. Imagine you get into an argument with someone so much that they cut your dick off while you're driving. And then after 30 minutes of screaming so hard, the blood vessels are popping in your eyes, you decide to look for your dick on the side of the road. And they took a while to find it, and then they sewed it back on, and then you do porn afterwards.
I mean, she can't be the first person to chop off her husband's dick.
No.
Why did she get the notoriety?
I don't know. Because it was the only one where it was like, you did it while he was driving. And you fucking grabbed it afterwards and tossed it out the window.
Yeah, that's it. It's the disdain, isn't it, of tossing it out the window. That's the icing on the cake of that story.
You got to factor in all the blood, and she had to reach down there and grab it while he's screaming and trying to push her off. And the next thing you know,
What did she use?
I have probably maybe a can opener. I don't know.
Oh God.
But John Hopkins was the first. I've said this on my podcast a couple of times. They were the first medical organization to do the first dick transplant. And they thought of something I would have never thought of, is that they went to the board of ethics, and the board of ethics said they could do it, but they could not transfer the balls because in fear that it would produce that dead person's kids.
Really?
Because apparently your balls, they have regenerative tissue that are still distinctly unique to your genetics. So you could actually recreate that person's kids. And people are like, wait a minute, a dick transfer? That's not real. I'm like, yeah. People like in war that have their whole legs blown off and their dick blown off or something, they found ways, like the procedure was done. A family had said, yeah, you can use this dead person's, their family member's dick onto this person to give them the ability to have like, try and get back to a normal life or something for a warrior, for a trooper. And then they did that, but they never transferred over the balls. And I was just like, that's fucking nuts. Literally.
Well, Robbie, on that note, I'm going to have to bounce.
Yeah, we've been going for almost 2 hours.
Yeah, I've got to feed the animals.
All right. I love you.
Yeah, I'm here. Love you too, Robbie.
Thank you. I needed that.
We've got a new dog.
Really?
Yeah, we've got a new dog. We've had him about 6 weeks now.
What type?
Well, funny you should ask, because I've done a DNA test on him, and I'm waiting for the results.
Is he part what's that dude's name? Is he part James Woods?
James Woods.
Remember that Family episode where he fucked a dog and they had puppies and they had the face of James Woods? I don't know how that show gets away with all that shit.
I can't detect any James Woods in him. I don't know. I think he might be a Ridgeweiler, which is a Rottweiler Ridgeback.
Yeah.
It looks like he's got a bit of them in him. Who knows? But I'll let you know when I get the results.
I appreciate you coming on. Where can people find you?
The We're on, or just search the Amish Inquisition on whatever podcast player or YouTube or Odyssey. Well, I meant to talk to you about Odyssey. Are you on Odyssey yet?
No, I'm on too many platforms. I won't go on Clubhouse either.
Odyssey is a video platform. Are you familiar with it?
No.
Right. So it's like YouTube, but they don't censor you, and there's no ads. And you also earn cryptocurrency by using the platform. You should look into it. We've been on it a few weeks now, and we're trying to push everyone now to move from YouTube. Not push creators, push people who watch on YouTube to jump onto Odyssey, because it's. I think it's a good way forward. It's worth looking at. I'll send you a link to our channel on there, and you can check it out.
Do you get points if I sign up using your link?
There is a referral thing.
I'll do it because I want to get you guys some more points. Yeah,
it's not like I think you get 8 credits for a referral, which would be like $1. So it's not about the money. It's the fact that there's no ads, there's no censorship, and you can have microtransactions. You can, people can support you in that way. So it's just another avenue, because we got a video taken down. I told you, didn't I, on YouTube?
Yeah.
And it's been like a month now that it's been appealed, and no reply. They don't give a fuck. All they care about is selling advertisements. And so yeah, I'm
Whenever I
fucked
get a
up.
video taken down, I just message them saying why.
Yeah, and they can't fucking tell you, can they?
No, they
It's
just
just
go,
how we.
sorry, it was against our guidelines. And I was like, why? And they're like, are you okay? I'm like, why? And they're like, are you okay? And I'm like, why? And they send me a suicide helpline number. And I'm like, why?